All right, welcome to another episode of Nard Knows, and I got a very distinguished guest, man. The man scored touchdowns damn near in every league, and I can't wait to dive into his story. Bringing in Kelvin Mcknight Jr., man. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm blessed. I can't complain, man, for sure. I'm happy to be here.
Well, you definitely on the right path over in the ELF, European League of Football. You with my boy Jadrian and a couple of
Yeah,
guys over there that I know, Darius Nash. So you got a
yeah.
nice team. They're planning on repeating, but I definitely want to dive in on your story, your journey, man. You're a Florida kid, coming from Florida to where you are now in this journey. What do you take from it, man? Like, what are the things that you've learned about yourself?
I guess it's been a humbling experience because I've never caught a train before. Um, just seeing the lifestyle out here, just riding a bicycle or just even walking everywhere is just different for me because down south we get in the car everywhere. So that's probably been the difference. Obviously, the language barrier. Uh, But other than that, man, it's just been a eye opener. I'm just excited to experience new things.
Right now you're with Rhein Fire, and they're trying to repeat as a champ over there, and those rings definitely look nice. I've seen a couple of them. Them rings is legit.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but you started off at Samford University, man, and a lot of highlights. A lot during your time there. What do you remember most just about being on that campus and growing as a young man off the field?
Uh, Man, just off the field wise, just it was my first time really being away from Florida because that's like 10 hours away. So just me being out there was like, in college you starting to become a man in a sense, finding your own self, learning time management, you know what I'm saying, understanding like how to separate, business, the fun, you know what I'm saying? Because you still want to have fun, you in college, you know what I'm saying? So it was just fun for me. I learned every year. Every year I got a little bit more experience on how I can do certain things with my off time. Uh, how to buckle down on, when it comes to school, where learn how to get stuff out the way early so I can hang out a little bit more. But yeah, other than that, man, it was just good. And meeting players from other states, just, having a good brotherhood.
Now, like I said, you're from Florida, man. A lot of schools in Florida is from USF, Florida State, Florida. How do they miss out on you? Like, talk up that recruiting process. Like, how do they miss out on the kid from Florida that's literally like unstoppable in the right system?
Yeah, man, I don't know, bro. That was God's plan. Honestly, though, what a lot of people don't know is my recruit process was crazy because I wanted to go to University of Maryland. That was the offer that was like my big ACC offer because we ended up flying to Maryland and playing. It was Gilman, and I had like 14 catches versus them. But long story short, I had got an offer from them, and I remember telling my mama like, "Yeah, I want to commit there." But she had said she had a bad feeling about it. And like when she said it, like it was like, okay. But like I got a lot of respect for my mama. So like I didn't want to do nothing behind her back. So it was kind of like I was bugging her during the track season, like, hey mom, I really want to like commit to these boys because the coach calling me every Wednesday. We talking on the phone. And finally she said, yeah. And the day I picked up the phone and called, the head coach was like, somebody just committed like a day before, so they have no longer like receiver spots for me. And I was like, I was so blowed. I remember I was mad at my mama for a while about that. And but after that, everything was cool. Like FAU had offered me, FIU and USF. USF they were supposed to have me too. Coach Taggart, they had offered me. They told me if another receiver don't come, then I can come. And I was like, man, I'm not gonna be nobody's second option. FAU, they had a coaching staff change. So it was kind of like I had the offer, but I didn't know if I still had the offer because the communication changed. And FIU, they ran the ball too much for me. Their boys was in our left, our right, and I'm trying to get the ball. So I was like, I don't see myself going there. And Samford, they came in out the blue. Like I didn't even really know who Samford was, but when they came to my grandma's house, they did a home visit at my grandma's house and they pulled out an iPad and showed me how many times they could throw the ball. I never heard of a team throwing the ball like 55 times a game. So it was like, man, my stats in high school would be like 5 catches for 100, but you throwing it 55 times. I know what to do with it. So it's like, it was kind of like a no brainer for me. I just had to go out there and take a visit. So yeah, that's how that went.
What was that moment when you finally got on campus and then you got, got to the locker room, you got acclimated with the guys and their process that they go through to get ready for the season? What was that moment for you when you realized, okay, I made myself the right decision by going to Samford?
Um, it was one day specifically in training camp. I remember uh we had an off day, and I had got a call from my offensive coordinator, and he was like, "I need you to get in the office now," but he didn't give me no reason. So I almost thought I was in trouble for real. So my heart dropped a little bit. I'm like, damn, I don't know what he want me. So he brought me in, and I wasn't playing slot receiver at the time. I was playing Z, and the person I was behind, he held the school records before me. His name was Carell Hamilton. He was from Florida, so I was playing behind him. And they had brought me in. They was like, you know, with how you've been playing right now, if we had a game tomorrow, you'll be a starting receiver. So we finna put you in position so you can play. So we want you to learn this slot position. And it was probably like 2 o'clock in the day, and I was in the office with them all the way to 8 o'clock at night. They was just showing me plays, going over me in film, and just like making sure I was ready for practice the next day. And that's when I knew I made the right decision because I felt like they was investing in me to like put me in position to succeed. So yeah,
Then you have, crazy seasons, put up crazy numbers, and one of your most memorable games was against Florida State. What do you remember
yeah.
about that game outside of putting up double-digit receptions, put up 200 yards plus and receiving
Hmm.
yards? What was going through your mind in that game?
That they had to feel me. Again, it was personal. They had to feel me like y'all got a Florida boy. He done made it out of Florida. Florida State was my favorite team growing up, and man, that game was just like I said, personal. With the USF situation, the head coach Willie Taggart, he's at Florida State at the time, so I'm feeling like, me and him from the same city. He went to the same high school, so I'm feeling like deep down, I'm like, yo, he tried me for real because we supposed to be at USF. I feel like he tried me. So that whole week, like really that whole summer, that game was on my mind. I was like, them boys gotta feel me. I don't feel like nobody over there finna just guard me 1-on-1 anyway. That's just how I'm feeling. And shout out to my head coach. He let me drop the first play of the game. He let me drop the first play of the game, and I ended up scoring on that play. So yeah, that game was lit for sure.
And what was that play call? Do you remember that play call? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, that play call was called spear. So we ran a no huddle offense, so we didn't huddle up, but that whole full play call was called spear. So the first play of the game, they just did the tomahawk signal for Florida State for spear. And yeah, first play we just went up top, took the roof off. Yeah.
And now looking back, closing the door on college football, which is so much different now with the NILs. What is your
Man,
take on that now that they're getting paid? Because I've been a student athlete, you've been a student athlete, and we know how hard it is to maintain the student and the athlete and try to have a little fun on the side.
yeah.
What do you take of college football now?
I ain't gonna lie, I think it's good them boys getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's a lot of people that don't really come from nothing and don't make it to the NFL. So you go to college, put in all that work, and you don't really got nothing to show for it. So it's like I think it's a great thing because a lot of people gotta understand them boys not really coming from nothing. Now you put yourself in position. And it's not, I ain't gonna say it's not a stress to make it to the NFL, but it's more of like a you got a little fresher breath air. You feel me? Like so it's like I think it's a great thing. I wish I was out there with it for sure.
You and me both, bro. This college
Yeah,
kids out there shitting on my salary, bro. And
man,
they,
I'm trying
they in
to tell
college.
you.
It's
That's what
crazy,
I'm saying. Like, so yeah, for sure.
man. Well, like I said, closing the chapter on college football, preparing to go to the league, and chase your dreams there. You had experience with the Broncos. But
Hmm.
before we even go to that, your cousin is Peter Ward, bro. We're not about to skip that.
Oh,
You,
yeah,
what
yeah,
have
yeah,
you learned from him, man? Like Peter Ward, bro, he's a college Hall of Famer, if not already. Like he got
yeah.
his jersey retired the day you played against him. But like that influence to be able to touch it, see it, feel it, what it's like to be, because he had a great career in the league too. What was his
Yeah.
influence on your life on and off the field?
Really though, at that time when P Dub was doing his thing, I was just being born. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm already knowing what he's doing, like when I got of age, but I'm not experiencing it.
Mm,
So I'm just hearing so many stories, and I think the one of the things he like what was it? We was playing against his high school, which is our rival. We was playing Southeast, and he came to the game. And it was one moment that I was mad because at this game, we was playing like a morning game versus Southeast. And I wouldn't say I was having a bad game. I just wasn't getting the ball. So I
mm,
was getting frustrated because I'm like, I'm not getting the ball. And I feel like these boys keeping up with us and they're not supposed to keep up with us. So I kind of like threw my helmet with frustration. And I didn't even know he was at the game. He called me to the sideline. He was like, KJ. So I ran over there, like, what's up? He was like, man, look, cuz you tripping. Like, don't let your teammates like see you in that way. Like you already a playmaker. It only take one play for you to change this whole game. So he was like, man, just keep your composure. Like, don't force the big play is gonna come. And it's crazy. As soon as he said that, we had got like a fumble or an interception, and it was time for us to go back out there. And then we went out there, and I had scored the next play like on a go ball. So like, yeah, that was like one of the like memorable moments of us just having a true conversation, and it just happened in real time. But yeah, him getting his jersey retired at that Florida State game was lit too, because we talked about that game like a month or two prior at the barbershop when I was home. He had came home to get a haircut, and we was talking about that game. And I had told him I was gonna go for over 200, so that was just I was glad I put that in
manifested that.
fruition. But so it was lit.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was lit.
Man, so you already know what it's like. You related to a pro athlete, Hall of Fame college player. You get to the league. I mean, were you starstruck at all, or was it just like I knew I belonged here?
Both.
Mm,
Both. I think um it probably took me like my first two practices because I have family members and also just people around me that have made it to the NFL besides Peter Ward. So my cousin that I'm really close to, Ace Sanders, he played at South Carolina, got drafted to Jacksonville, and he been giving me games since coming up. I got to watch his footsteps up close and personal. So he been was telling me like, look, cuz when you get there, don't be surprised of like how fast you're gonna go out there and succeed like on rookie minicamp. Like these boys gotta put their cleats on just like you. So I think after like the first day when I like did one-on-ones, I'm like, oh, okay. This is regular football. Like, you got the jitters because I got this Broncos on. I'm seeing the facility, like this is what I've been dreaming of. So like, but after that, it was just normal football. The starstruck moment for me was probably like the Von Miller vibe. I think when he had texted me one day to come to like his house, but just seeing the text was like, "Hey, bro, this Von Miller." It was like, okay, yeah, I'm out here for real. Like, yeah, I'm out here. So yeah,
wow, wow. And I mean, you have your own testimony when it comes to setting you apart from other athletes. But guys like Von Miller, people don't get that type of text every day.
right.
What sets athletes apart, or what have you learned that sets players like Von Miller apart from other guys outside of the talent aspect? Because everybody has talent. You have talent just like everyone at any level. But what did you learn from those guys that set them apart to be successful and have longevity?
Consistency. Just also being blessed with the opportunity to be able to do it too a lot because there's a lot of instances where players are good enough but don't get the opportunity to show it. So when you get the opportunity to do it, like you have to be in that moment to understand you got this opportunity and take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, consistency. Don't never get comfortable. I always feel like you could be gone tomorrow, which is the case in the NFL. You could be. You never feel like you safe. You know what I'm saying? But there's free agents right now that's been in the league, got real film. You know what I'm saying? That year that's on the free agent list right now. Like Gilmore, for example. I don't even understand how he not on the team right now. That don't even make sense. Like when you say it out loud. So yeah, that's just really what I learned there. Just taking advantage of the moment, being in the moment, and never being complacent, having more discipline and motivation. Because there's gonna be times where you don't feel like being out there. Like, as an athlete, even though you love this game, it be times when you don't feel like going to practice. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that being in the NFL, like, okay, I don't feel like going today, but I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Now, one thing that I've learned that's been consistent when talking to different athletes and even in different phases of their career is adversity. And you have faced adversity and multitude from injuries and I mean even from college, just the adversity that
yeah,
you felt and faced. What has been, I hate to jock it, but what has been like your greatest pivot? You know what I mean? Like what has been your greatest adjustment in life as far as going from Florida, being a Florida State kid, want to be a Florida State player, and then you go to Samford and you ball out there, and then you ball out on flat Florida State, and then you go to the NFL, you play with the Broncos, you get to meet Von Miller, and then you find yourself in the XFL, and then you're the leading kick return in yards, and then now here you are at the ELF, and that's not nothing to say towards you or what is meant for you, but what has been your biggest adjustment and how have you accepted that? Because a lot of players have a tough time accepting that mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
yeah. I think for me personally, I kind of always been like the underdog, so I never always been given that full attention or full like gratitude or respect that I always really felt like I I deserved. So for me, just facing that adversity and going through all those trials and tribulations, um, man, I always just tell myself I got this little saving, just little sayings, just have some faith because I'm blessed enough to have a circle that's around me that keeps me like up when there's times where I don't feel like I'm doing enough or like, what I'm saying, I'm just not at my best and they remind me like it's a part of the journey. Cause a lot of the things that happen for me, it's been out of my control. And it was hard for me to like comprehend it because I tell people I rather been not good enough than good enough but not getting the right up. Like I'm seeing that I'm there and I could do it, and even like the people there know I can do it, but they're just not. It's just not going through how I wanted to. So like I had to just come to understanding with that. Like you know, it's not really about how good I am right now. It's just about getting the right opportunity. Because if I get the right op, it's gonna happen. So I just try not to even worry about the end result. I'm just going through the journey wherever it take me. So at that point, I just had to like, that was just the maturity of me, like going through that. Because my rookie year, I was going through it, like boom, doing everything right, getting cut from the Broncos. Boom, I'm home for 3 weeks. I'm in Atlanta training because I ain't trying to go back to Florida. I'm in the A training. Then out of nowhere, I get a call from the Patriots. I'm on a flight to the Patriots. Boom, I get signed, and I'm there for like a week and a half. The kicker get hurt, and they telling me like, "Yo, we gotta cut you. It's gonna be on the internet that we cut you, but we're gonna bring you back on Tuesday." So they never flew me back out. I mean, flew me home. So I was there in the hotel for probably like 2 3 days, but they didn't make a decision on the kicker, so they had to fly me home. I go back to Atlanta. Literally the next day, the 49ers called me. I fly out there for a workout. Boom, I do the workout. They tell my agent, he did everything right. We just gonna go in a different direction. We think he gonna be a good player, just not for they just want to see a different type of receiver at that time. So I was going through all these emotions. Then I'm probably in Atlanta again training for like another 4 days. Then the Broncos called me right back, and I'm back in Denver. So like just being on a flight for like 3 weeks straight, it felt like just going through all of that. It just showed me that just how this business worked. I could be here and there in a blink of an eye. So I never really took anything for granted, and it was nothing that like my ability. You know what I'm saying? It was just how the business worked. And then COVID happened. COVID messed up everything. I didn't even get a chance to compete my second year because of COVID. Going into training camp, got cut the day before training camp because of COVID, because of the roster situation. You gotta have a certain amount. So boom, went through that. So yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that, like, especially like fans and football nerds, they kind of dehumanize athletes just to a point where they don't realize that all that back and forth can take a toll on you mentally, emotionally, and in some ways, some athletes, it could take a toll on their confidence on the field. Was there ever a
Yeah.
time where you had to like chin check yourself and be like, it ain't me. This is just how it is. And then how much and then what happened if there was a situation where you was like, is it me? Was there was there a moment maybe in the XFL or such where you was like, I am who I think I am and I am who I know I am?
Yeah. Probably going back to my probably going into my second year. I think that's probably the most mad I've been at football because it was COVID. So it was kind of like I'm seeing it get stripped from me, and I couldn't really do nothing about it that year. And I'm like, shout out to my older cousin Ace. He always been in my corner, like just being like that ear for me. Like we watching film together, and he's like, he has a different perspective because he's been drafted. And my perspective being undrafted, he's looking at it like, look, cuz like I'm not even trying to boost your head up. Like I'm really watching this film and it's really like nothing that I could truly say to make you feel better. Like you seeing you seeing what you're doing out here to these boys. Like it's really nothing that you're doing wrong. And I want you to understand that, like, don't let them take your joy like from this game, like that brought you this like since a kid. So like it really took another person like keep reiterating that to me, and also my trainer like Coach Laird. They was doing that constantly because I was kind of getting in that hole where it's like, is it me? Like, because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like it really it will put you in that situation. But like I said, I'm always thankful. Like I always said it in my prayers. I'm thankful for the circle that I had to keep me like in that good mindset. So yeah.
I got a deep one for you, man.
What it do?
What do you think at this point in your life? Because you're still pretty young, you got a long way to go.
Yeah.
What do you think your purpose in life is?
I don't know. That's a real deep one. That might be even an answer that I can't even give right now. Because even through with all my experiences, I could be, I could be getting used to shed a light for someone to like look at me from a distance to like show somebody to have some faith. Like you going through all these trials and then you steady being consistent, then boom, you finally get what you want. Or, I really don't know just yet. I don't think it hit me to where I see it yet, but I'm just proud of myself that I'm still going. Like I didn't just like press that end button because I was in my feelings about the business of it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
yeah.
How do you think God is using you with this purpose that you're still trying to figure out? Because your purpose is already there. And me from
Hmm.
the outside looking in, which is why I love to do what I do, I can foresee certain things. That's just the gift God gave me. But
Hmm.
how do you think God is using you to be the light that is Kelvin Mcknight Jr.?
Uh, like I said before, I think it's really just putting me through these trials and just keeping my chin high, like, because a lot of people go through this and won't like be strong enough to like stay through it. Like I'm in this fire, but I'm still like keeping my head above it. Like I'm not really worrying about it. Like I might be feeling it internally, but I'm not really showing it on the outside. And I'm just glad, like throughout the journey, as I'm looking back, it's been plenty of times where I really should have like stopped playing. Like just for like how the business was doing me. I could have really just pressed in because it was just in my head they was just doing too much, and then I'm telling my peers what's going on, and they looking at it. It's like, bro, it don't make no sense why they doing you like this. Like, so Yeah, I think he's just using me like that to show people like just to have some faith. Like I said, that's really like a thing I really say. Like I be speaking it to existence for real.
What's your favorite route, bro? Let's talk some football. We been talking life. What's your favorite route?
Favorite route, man, that's so tough. Let me see. I'm gonna have to give you two. I'm gonna give you one if I'm like on the outside. I'm gonna give you one if I'm in the slot. Okay, if I'm on the outside, I like a post corner. I always love that route. Yeah, I always love that route. Yeah, post corner for sure. And in the slot, um, I feel like a choice route because you never right. I'm always right. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's zone or man. If it's man, you dead. I'm finna rock you to sleep. And if it's zone, I'm just gonna find a window. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, those my two favorite routes for sure.
And then you on kick return as well. Like, what do you make of the new kick return rules? I mean, they already been doing it in the ELF, but now they
Yeah,
implemented it in the NFL. I mean, but you did have a dominant season with the Dragons in the XFL,
yeah,
and that was a totally different format. What do you make of it as a
yeah.
kick returner?
Uh, I think it's a little different because when I first was doing it, it probably took me like 1 or 2 reps to get the feel of it. Because growing up, we had the standard kickoff, and I think the standard kickoff was a little bit more easier because everybody didn't run the same far as speed wise, so it was naturally different levels, and you had blockers at different levels, so it naturally created lanes. So it was kind of like a little bit easier to set things up. Here the new rule when it's just like everybody straight cross, the action happens now. So now you got to trust your blockers a little bit more because they have to get hands on because if they miss a block, it's kind of like straight on action right now. They right there. So I think it's like it'll be good because it's like it's gonna create more returns and it can be exciting because if you can break through that first wave, it can get there. It's gonna get some people on their feet. It's gonna get some people on their feet. Natural cutback lanes, people start overflowing. You can put your foot in the ground, go the other way. So it's gonna keep people honest. So yeah, I think it'll just bring more excitement for the fans too. Cause I think that kick return aspect had left once they scooted the ball up. So it was a lot of touchbacks in the NFL. So yeah, they ain't get that feeling since Devin Hester though. Yeah.
Shout out to Devin, man. Finally inducted to the Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah, they've
Rightfully
been
so. Miami
with
boy.
him. Yeah,
Um,
they've been he should have been in.
he should have been in there. Last question for me, man, because I appreciate you so much for your time. When it's all said and done, man, how do you want people to remember you and your legacy on and off the field?
Um, man, a great teammate, somebody that they can always hit up outside of football. Like um all my teammates know I'm a real good like we close. They know like we locked in for real. On the field, I just want to be able to show them like man, if you just have a little faith and consistency, this what it'll look like. You know what I'm saying? Hard work and yeah, it sounds cliche, but yeah, that's what it is for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I want to appreciate you so much for joining the show, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know there's a nice little time difference, but hey, got the playoffs right around the corner. Go get you another ring, my brother. Stay healthy, stay blessed, and continue to blaze that path for not only for you, but the people that's coming after you, my guy.
No, for sure. I appreciate you for having me on, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Narnos. Yeah, yeah. He manifested this, I swear he did. Narnos, bring the story to the visual. Global, kick it with the athletes, good promo. Dope show, listen while you working. Speaking with a purpose. Subscribe now, don't keep scrolling. Catch him on the web like Toby. Narnos, inspire weed like Kobe. Narnos, Mamba mentality potent. From the streets of Detroit to TV, Narnos.